What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video, and today we've got this Toyota Highlander or Toyota Kluger, depending on what part of the world you live in. And you can see this car came in with this old outdated infotainment, which was good many years ago, but now it needs some modern touch with a wireless CarPlay and Android Auto screen. As you can see, the contrast in between the two screens is crazy. So without any further delay, let's get started into another episode of DIY Made Easy. Now this car right here is compatible for one of our 10-inch screen that will retain your steering controls, your reversing camera, so on and so forth, all the original Toyota settings. So let me show you how you can install one in your Toyota Kluger or Highlander. It's a very simple process, and it's very friendly for DIY. First thing you want to do, get your key out, put it away. Now the tools you require for this job are quite simple. You just need a screwdriver, a 10mm socket, Phillip head maybe. You'll need a pry tool. We like to use this Kenwood microphone, some tape to tape everything up and make it look everything nice, pretty and neat, as well as some microfiber to lay down so we don't scratch anything. The disassembly process starts by removing this climate panel around here. The big silver trim needs to come out. Now what I like to do is to pry evenly throughout the trim. That way you don't put a lot of pressure on one side and risk the chance of snapping it. You want to avoid that. As soon as you pry it out, you'll see this one plug behind and a clip holder. You can just push it and release the clip, and this climate panel will sit on the side. Now once you've removed the climate panel, the next part is to move on to remove this brown trim and your AC vents from either side, which will reveal the bolts to remove the actual head unit. Now in order to remove the brown trim and the AC ducts from here, you have to start by removing this brown trim, plastic trim from here. You want to go from the bottom all the way up, start prying at the bottom. That will release some pressure off the clip. Then you can start pulling up on the AC vents from the bottom. It will get out from the clip. There's no screws holding it back. Do the same thing on the other side and the whole thing is out. Then once you got all of that trim removed, you'll see there's 4 10mm, 2 on the left, 2 on the right side. What we want to do is remove that. Now before doing that, we want to go ahead and put this nice microfiber down there, and then we can undo those 4 screws, 4 bolts, pull it out, remove all the pins and plugs from behind. Now this radio comes out quite simple. Once you've undone those 4 bolts, this will just slide out of place. There's nothing holding it back. Then you want to start by undoing all the plugs from behind. You can see there's a few of them. They're all push and remove plugs. Once you've got all of them out, you can go ahead and put this radio to the side. Now once you got the radio out, you're going to see these 2 yellow clips in the feet of the radio. You want to get them out and remove it. We're going to mount them onto the new screen when we're mounting the new screen in, so it can go into the factory slot. There is a small change that you have to make to this climate panel here in order for this to fit into a right-hand drive car. If your car is a left-hand drive anywhere in the world, you don't have to do this. All you have to do is you see this clip around here. You just have to snap this one piece off. So what I'm going to do is make a little bit of groove using my knife, very sharp knife, and that will allow for me to get it out straight away. Now you can see the contrast between the 2 different screens. They're similar size physically, but you can see the size on the screen on this one compared to that one is insanely different. It's almost twice as big, or if not more. That's a 4.8, that's a 10.1, so it's actually more than twice the size within the same shroud. Now you will see some of this wiring here. We're only going to be using one of the kits, not both of them. And these are just accessories that go onto the back of the unit. So let me go ahead and show you how to mount all of these, which wiring we have to use, which we don't. It's quite an easy process. Let me show you how to do it. Before we move on to that, let's go ahead and mount these 2 feet in the bottom of our screens. Flip it upside down. This is where you got them out from. One on this side and one onto the other side. So when you push the screen back in place, as you saw, it's not held in by any screws. It will hold the unit back in place. Alright, so the only extra wire that I've run here is the cable from my microphone that I've mounted on the A-pillar. I'll show you in a second. Now what I'm doing right here is looking at the plugs here. So you'll see, if you see these plugs physically, you can look at them and you can match them to the kit. Now what you'll see right here in the first kit that I've got, the first wiring kit, these plugs do not match. So if I go in there and show you, you'll see these male sides are different to these female sides, so you can't plug them in together. So that means this is not the right wiring harness for me. However, this USB retention, the gray one, is the correct one. So let's go ahead and plug that in. That way we can use the factory USBs, don't have to route in the new ones. Let's move on to the next one, which is this wiring harness, which is harness number MHHW006. It's quite common for Toyotas to use this wiring harness. Let's get the thing out. Now as you will see, this has got the right USB retention, which is this gray plug here. Go ahead and plug that in. Good. And now when I already know that this wiring harness is going to be the right one for me, what I'm going to do at this stage is go ahead and break all of these small little zip ties. And once the whole thing is broken up, then you can start plugging things in. Now remember, most of these things will only go in one way. So for example, that plug right there will plug into this plug here. Second one will go in there. Third one you won't need because you've already got one power plug. They're both power plugs, so you can only have one power plug. Then let's go for the camera. Again, you'll see you've got two camera plugs. They both got camera lead coming out, so only one of them can be a reversing camera. Now when I look here, I think this wider one is the one that's matching to our factory one. And this one right here is for your auxiliary. Let's put that in. So the secondary camera plug is obsolete in this case. Same with the secondary power harness. So once you've got all of these plugged up, let's go ahead and tape everything to make everything look nice, neat and pretty. Then we can start mounting our accessories. Taping up your wiring is a key essential part of having a good install versus bad install. Just ensure there's nothing that's going to rattle at the back. If you ever need to modify anything, it's quite easy because everything is organized. It doesn't create a clutter, and best of all, it prevents any kind of interference or things hitting from each other. So it's always a good practice to tape everything up at the back. Now I like to use this soft microfiber tape. All right, so as you'll see here, we got these additional USBs, which you don't need to mount in this case because we're retaining the original factory USB. Now you have this yellow one right here, which is gonna turn your camera cable here into a plug that can be plugged into the head unit. So let's go ahead and put that on. Again, let's start taping it up to make it look very nice, neat and pretty. This is the plug that has got all your RCAs out with extra input for your front camera, a caravan camera if you got them, for aftermarket sound system, sub output, as well as our fan control for the head unit. You can chuck in a SIM card in this to watch YouTube, Netflix, Kayo, anything you want to watch, to use it as a standalone system without even having your phone in the car. And it's also got your input for microphone, so the mic that I've run before. Let's go ahead and plug that in there. We'll only need the fan control from here, and the rest we can tape up for now. And this SIM card tray, we can run it to our glove box here. Now it's quite an easy process to do. All that you want to do is run it from there down under, and you'll easily be able to get it to the glove box. Now we've got these final two antennas, as you can see, a Wi-Fi and a GPS antenna. The Wi-Fi antenna is the tall one. Now this is not used to connect to your phone. This is actually used to get reception for the SIM card that you plug in there. And this GPS also is when you're using the head unit standalone. If you're using Apple CarPlay or Android Auto or anything like that, then you don't need to worry about either one of these two. So let's go ahead and tape this up, and then you want to make sure you mount these on a piece of plastic away from any metal surface. That's the only requirement these have got, is to just not be mounted on a metal surface. So once we tape it up, there's a lot of flat plastic at the back where we can mount this. Now here's how the back of the screen looks. This is your power, this is your CAN bus, this is your camera, USB and the RCA lead plug. Now the good part about this is everything can only go in one way as long as you don't force anything in. Now you can start plugging everything in. You can see it's clearly labeled 4G and GPS where each one will go. So let's start with that. This is my GPS plug. Second one is my 4G plug here. Then I will plug in my fan plug here, the back, followed by this RCA plug to go in the back. Then comes my aerial. From there on, we can start mounting the other cables, such as my camera, my canvas plug. This is where all your steering controls, reverse camera trigger and everything comes in from. And the final one, which is my main power harness here, the black one. Everything is plugged in. Just have a glance, make sure nothing is empty at the back. And then we can push the rest of the excess wiring easily in its place. Let's go ahead and put the air ducts back on. Once the head unit is back in place, you can start by putting your left and right AC duct. When that has been installed again, you can just clip the brown trim back on, and after that, plug in the plug behind your climate panel, hold on to the clip, and once you've done all of that, you can push the thing back in place. It will slide in now that we've made the modification. If you have the left and right car version, you wouldn't have to worry about this. You still have to put the panel back in place. Once everything is done, let's go ahead and start the car. As you see right here, the unit is turned on, is looking very nice, so much better than the other one. Let's go ahead and test for sound, make sure that the sound is working. Turn the volume up. It is working. Let's not get a copyright there. And you can go ahead and set up your radio. So just click on the radio up there, click on the search icon here, and what it will do, it will scan for all the radio frequencies around. It will save up to 18 frequencies at any time. But you can save more by just clicking on this band here. It will go into FM2, and then you have another 18 frequencies. And then if you press it one more time, it will go into AM. So when you're setting it up, we like to set everything up like that. All right, next part is setting up your date and time. So slide down from top bottom, so outside the screen into the screen. Click on the setting here, scroll all the way down, click more, go to systems, date and time. Now you want to set up the time here automatically, but not the time zone. We want to set up the time zone here, which is Australia, Sydney time, and that's the correct time, 10:27. Okay, the third part is I hate that AI thing. It's a very good internal, so that's why I can support native AI if you want to use that. I personally don't like it, so I'll click on this Golf Y, turn up these two, click on the back, you see that popping icon is there. So the popping icon is gone, press and hold on to it, drag into the bin, it's gone, it's out of place. Now in here you'll find this car settings here, we'll come back to it in a second. Scroll down, click on settings again, scroll all the way down, click on factory, select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, click confirm. Scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see the steering wheel, microphone selection, that's the one. We want to use the rear one for call transmission. That will use this one for noise cancelling and the other one for call transmission. On the theme, press and hold, it will let you change the app. So select Z-Link here, this is our Apple CarPlay, click on that. Click settings, this is right hand drive, so click right hand drive, FPS engine, background connections when you get in the car for automatic connection, and default connection type is to how it will go every time you start the car, so it will always go into CarPlay by itself. And you've got your phone, let's remove our test devices, name the system as Kluger or Highlander, depending on how you want it. Let's go Kluger. Click on this setup here, change the microphone gain to high because you've got a very nice HD microphone, so you can do that. Now, what I like to do usually here is set up Bluetooth, radio, Z-Link, and the last one I can put it up as the fuel information. If you click on that, it will show you all your average and all of that coming through Canvas. Now, if you go into the app, scroll across into this green setting right here, you'll see it's got all of the original Toyota settings that you used to have on the original unit. Even some extra functions that you didn't have the original unit will be on here as long as the car was compatible. As you can see, all the steering controls are working. Now let's go ahead and set up our CarPlay and test for that. All right, to set up CarPlay, go into settings on your phone, click on this phone icon on the head unit, click Bluetooth, click the search here. Oh, it might ask me for a password, which is 0000. Click OK here. Just wait for it to connect. It says pair success there. It says connected here. You'll see CarPlay will come up. As soon as CarPlay connects, it will say not connected, which is normal. That's how all of the wireless CarPlay works. Click OK, and you're in. Now we can go ahead and remove this film there. Very satisfying removal. But as you will see, it's super nice and clean and easy to use interface. It's very, very nice, quick, responsive. You got Waze, you got Spotify, you got your call directory, you got everything that you want, your calendar, messages, your audiobooks, podcasts, radio, paying for your parking. Everything can be done from here. It's insane how good this system is. Let's go into reverse and check for the reversing camera. As you can see, it's going all crazy. So touch the screen, it will pop up that cogwheel. Click on that, click camera, click here on the camera setting. And this is an NTSC camera. Click on NTSC and your camera is back on. Now it is exactly how the camera was before the installation, so nothing's changed there. Go back into park, that's gone away. Now one more setting that we have to do by going into settings, scroll down, click on reverse, go all the way to the bottom, and I like to put it at 3/4 high. So when you go into reverse, this is how much volume you have left. If this is 0, when you go into reverse, your volume will be 0. That is especially annoying when you're having a phone call with someone and you're trying to park the car and they go mute. So I like to keep it on 3/4. Click Z-Link here, I can back into CarPlay. You can see everything is working as it should. Perfect system. Now, if you guys got any question in regards to this install, please reach out to us on info@westernautocustoms.com.au or simply call us on 0475 469 577 in Australia. Or if you want to buy this exact kit, you can buy this from www.westernautocustoms.com.au through our website. Very simple and easy process. Just click on it, add it to the cart, check out. You have this plug and play kit, update your car. Very, very easy and friendly install. That's going to be it for us in this video. We'll see you in the next episode of DIY Made Easy. Peace.